What is up? I don't usually make YouTube videos like this because I kind of abandoned the channel, but occasionally I just have something that I really want to make. Maybe I have a video sitting around, or I have just an opportunity that I don't really want to pass up. And this is one of those examples. So several months ago there was the LG G8X trial program that was going around, and they attached a form, and basically the form said, what could you do that would benefit from having a dual screen phone? And being a streamer, I immediately thought of streaming could potentially be good. You have your streaming software up top, you have the screen you want to capture on the bottom, and just mirror it, and then you can monitor your whole stream, you can see everything, and you can do all the gameplay on the bottom without it interacting at all. However, there were a lot of issues that came about from trying to stream like that, and I feel as if I have to address all of them. So the first thing, which is both a pro and a con, is the taller aspect ratio. Just from looking at my phone that I currently use in comparison to the LG G8X, you can see, in terms of actual physical size, not that far off, but the LG V20, which is what I currently use, stops a lot lower down. So let's quickly just show the backgrounds again. You can see the difference in terms of screen real estate. So that's a pro and a con, because it allows you to see more stuff on a web page, or watch an extra widescreen video, which some people make, like Linus Tech Tips. I know they do it. Unfortunately, that also has the drawback that by having it be taller, that means when you turn it on its side, it's going to be a lot wider and not very tall. So my capture card actually had issues with that, because it's set up for 16:9, and I think this is like 21.5:9, something along those lines. And because I couldn't use 16:9, it wasn't set up by default. I might be able to change it. I didn't look too far into it, but I know that just without changing anything from the settings I already use, it wouldn't actually detect it correctly. But since it's a dual screen phone, you might think, what about trying to capture it with both screens together, like one big square screen? And when you have it in the dual screen mode, it has to sit in this case, which means that it uses this port here, which is a magnetic charging port. It's great for charging because you don't have to worry about plugging it in and out constantly, potentially breaking your phone's port. But it doesn't seem to be able to transfer data. Not that I can see, at least, because I could not for the life of me figure out any way to capture the screen. I couldn't mirror it onto my monitor. I couldn't capture with my capture card. So because of that, it's not really usable as a tablet recording. And that's unfortunately a common thing for the phone, having a lack of support for the dual screens, because just by default, most apps do not actually support it, because that's up to the app developers to do that specifically for this phone. There's an app you can download specifically for this phone on the App Store called the G8X Wide Mode, and that is kind of a hacky workaround where you can make it work for pretty much any app, but it's not going to be smooth. So if I want to watch a Twitch stream, for example, and I do full screen, what I really wanted to be able to do is have the stream shown at the top with the chat on the bottom. And if I could do that, that would be great. Maybe the Twitch app will support that at some point, but just natively it doesn't. So because Twitch streams are 16:9, it has to stretch further down past the first screen in order to work with the workaround, the G8X Wide Mode. So if I want to look at the chat, I can do that, but it's just a little strange. If I want to watch the stream, unfortunately it's cut up. So it doesn't really work well for that. Again, maybe at some point Twitch will add support for it, but they need to make it specifically for this phone, which I can't see a lot of app developers doing. But in terms of streaming with the Streamlabs app, so the main thing that I brought up, the reason that I wanted to try out this phone, is for some reason Streamlabs works just fine on the top screen. It shows properly, it can capture the bottom screen, but the second you launch a game, the screen does not show up right. So when I open a game like Archaea, it has a black bar on the right side. If I flip it over, the black bar is on the left side, and I don't know why it's there. I cannot figure it out at all, because when you're just looking at the phone, the game takes up the whole screen. There's no black bar. When I do VOES, it's a similar issue, like it's shifted over a little bit, and I don't see any reason why that would be the case, but I know that it is doing that. If you just wanted to capture the screen, like separate from streaming, maybe you want to put a video on YouTube of just some gameplay, then you can do that with a screen recorder that's built into the phone. It'll capture the audio inside, you can capture it with your mic, and with that, VOES works perfectly fine. That one doesn't have a longer bar on either side, but Archaea has the exact same issue, and I could not see a single way to change that. Again, when you look at the screen, it looks perfectly fine. It just shows your entire screen taken up by the game. I looked through the game settings and I couldn't find any way to change that. So if you want to use the screen recorder for YouTube, it can work. If you want to stream with it on Twitch using Streamlabs or the native Twitch app, then you're probably going to have some issues. But what if you don't care about streaming gameplay? Say you just want to do IRL streaming. You want to capture it from your phone camera, showing the outside world or showing yourself. I tried that out, and you'll see there's no camera on the top screen. So there's a camera on the bottom, which means if you're holding it like this, you'll be able to see both screens, but you're holding it on the bottom and it's going to be very awkward. So you could hold it upside down and have the chat on the bottom, have the Streamlabs up top, and then you're capturing it like that, and you can look at everything. But again, it's still weird to hold a phone like this. Having a screen hanging down is just a little bit uncomfortable. It would be really nice if the thinner one had a camera. I can understand why they didn't do that though, because it probably wouldn't stay thin if they added a camera. But not being able to hold it where you can look at the chat and have it point outwards makes it kind of hard to recommend even for IRL streaming. It can work, but I don't know if it's necessarily better than just using one screen. Alright, so then what is it good for streamers? Because I will say there is one very, very good use for it. If you're someone who doesn't have a lot of desk space, maybe you only have one monitor, and you need some way to monitor the chat, monitor your stream activity, monitor anything, maybe check Discord, whatever, while you're streaming, this will make a great secondary monitor and a tertiary monitor. There's two screens, so you're going to have a lot more screen real estate with pretty much no footprint at all, because it just sits on your desk and will take up almost no space. So if you need an extra monitor, this might not be the cheapest option, but if you're already looking at this phone anyway for other reasons, then I will say that it will work well for that specific situation. And then you can still put your gameplay on your main monitor and capture everything there. So that's going to be it for the streamer's perspective on the LG G8X dual screen. Not a review, but I may do a review at some point because it is a good phone. It's just not a good phone necessarily for streaming. It can work for specific things, but just in general, I wouldn't recommend it for streamers. I appreciate you watching, and you have a great day.